does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to check out Emergents Genesis, the deck building game from Urban Island Games. This is for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 plus. It'll take you about, about 30, 45 minutes to play. And in Emergents Genesis, the deck building game, you are emerging with superpowers, and you're going to be fighting each other to the death in this deck building game. You're going to be trying to build the best deck. You're going to be trashing stuff out of your hands. You're going to be attacking other people, doing all sorts of stuff like that. But is it good? Let's open it up, and I'll tell you about it. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what's here inside of Emergents Genesis. First and foremost, we get our handy dandy rule booklet. It's about 22 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples. But honestly, you're only going to use about the first 15 pages. And it's pretty well done. I will say it's a little bit redundant. They have like the quick start rules and they go like the full rules. And they're pretty much very similar, but still, will have you up and running in no time at all, which is always a good thing. So Emergents Genesis, this is going to be a deck building game where you are going to be taking control of a various different character from this fictional universe. Everyone's going to have their own asymmetrical abilities. So quick hit, once during your turn, if you draw 3 or more cards this turn, you may put a card from your discard pile into your hand. It can be incredibly useful. We have Zeroth. Once during your turn, you may reveal the top card of the book, aka the cards that are going to be coming out into the buy row. Each player secretly bids an amount of their health points and reveals their choice at the same time. The player with the highest bid puts the card on top of their deck. So that's a really cool concept for the game. I'll talk more about that in the pros and the cons, though. Eraser. Once during your turn, you may erase a card from the page. If that card was a Sculptor Card, heal 1. A Sculptor Card is a card with this symbol right here. And if you're familiar with like Star Realms, just think of it as one of the 4 factions in the game. So everybody's going to have their own unique character card that will go throw in front of them, which will give them a special ability that they can potentially utilize. Also, each player is going to have one of these guys right here, which is where you're going to keep track of your hit points, your health points, as I like to call them. They don't include anything to help keep track with those, so you're going to need a component to do that. Not a huge deal, but it is something that I wanted to mention. Also, that is something I want to mention before we get going. There's a lot of cards that will have you put counters and whatnot on the cards or bid, potentially like with the Zeroth card. And they don't include any of the components you need to do that. So you are going to need some various different odds and ends to play the game. So when you first start the game, each player is going to get a deck of 12 cards. You're going to have 9 focus cards, which will give you skill +1, and 3, I think they're punch cards, which will give you attack +1. Obviously, the attack is going to attempt to knock down your opponent's health, and the skill, as you could probably guess, is going to allow you to purchase cards that are out here in what is called the book, or right here. So when you set up the game, you're always going to have this top row right here. You'll have tackle, can't stop, clear, mine, oust. This one's attack +2, skill +2, erase a card from your hand or the page. Or, one of the unique things about this game, it'll say, or defend 1. So one interesting aspect of this game, as opposed to other deck builders, is that with your typical deck builder, you're going to spend all your money at the same time and do all your attack at the same time. With this one, you actually do each card individually. So if you attack for, say, 2, then you're going to do that attack immediately before you move on to the next card. And the main reason why they do that is because the person who's being attacked could potentially play this card right here, which will allow them to defend 1. So if they discard this card, they only take 1 point of damage as opposed to 2 points of damage. There are also some cards out there that will say counter. So for instance, this guy right down here, an expensive one, it costs 6, but if you have it in your hand and someone attacks you, you can not only block 3 points of damage, you can turn around and attack that person for 3 points of damage. A really cool concept that I don't think I've seen done in any other deck builder that I've played, and I've played quite a few of them. So a lot of them also will give you the option to do something else. So draw a card or draw a card, then discard a card. So interesting stuff going on. That's if you use that as the defend. So continuing onward, so you're going to have your 6 cards out in the book. there are a couple different kinds of cards and some terminology I want to get you up and running on before I show you how the game is played. There's gear, and this is going to go in front of you. So once you purchase it, it'll go into your discard pile. Then eventually when it comes up, it will go in front of you, and it will stay in front of you until it's destroyed, which is sometimes pretty difficult to do. So this one, when you play this gear, put 2 willpower tokens on it. Once again, there's no tokens included in the game, so you'll just have to find something to put on it. Pay a willpower token, and that gives you charge plus 1 attack. So that can be pretty useful. So we've got out our deck right here. We've got our 12 cards. What you're going to do on your turn is you're going to get 6 cards from the top of your deck. Also, I did want to mention this. If you're the first player, you're going to have 27 health, whereas everyone else starts with 30 health. And then you are going to do your typical stuff. Oh, that should not be in there. That's actually not the red card. All right, so let's see what we got. We got 1, 2, 3 focus. That one should be there too. Wow, what in the world? So we got 4 focus and 2 punch. So first thing you want to do, you do each card individually. So you say, I'm going to do 1 punch on you. At the beginning of the game, they're not going to be able to counter it. I'm going to do another punch to that other person. So 2 people are going to be taking 1 damage, or 1 person is going to be taking 2 points of damage. So they would take that damage. And then you'd say, all right, I have 4 skill that I can spend. And this is one of those games where once you purchase a card, and another card is immediately going to come up. And you can purchase more than 1 card on your turn. So I might say, you know what, I really like this brass knuckles. I think that could be really useful. So put that there. Another card comes up. I have 1 coin to spend, 1 skill to spend. And the only thing I can afford is to vaporize. And I'd rather have a card than not have a card early in the game. So I would do that. Put these in my discard pile, rinse, wash, and repeat. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to defeat all of your opponents. Other than that, I mean, you got your typical deck builder stuff. You're going to be drawing a lot of cards, discarding cards, erasing cards. There's what's called the gutter, aka the trash pile. So you're going to be trying to cull your hand. And there's going to be different strategies that you're going to develop as you purchase cards. But anywho, that's how you're going to be doing. You can do free-for-all, you can do team mode, and that, in a nutshell, is how Emergents Genesis, the deck building game, is played. Alrighty then, Emergents Genesis, the deck builder game from Urban Island Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the pro side, oh no. Artwork is great. Really like the artwork into it. Really sucks you into the game. Just the rule booklet, also well done. It holds your hand a little bit too much for my liking, but for some people that's going to be exactly what they want. Also, the box is small. It's compact, and I like that. You get some of these deck builders with like 300-400 cards. You're like, why is the box this large? Why is this box the same size as Ticket to Ride? And that is a little bit of a nuisance. So the box is a good size. The box looks really nice. Component-wise, cards are perfectly serviceable. Very nice, thick cards. Moving on to the game itself, what I like about the game, because I am going to trash this game. I'm just going to slam this game. And unfortunately, there's a lot to like in this game. There are a lot of really cool ideas and concepts in this game, but they just don't come together the way that you want them to, and the way we wanted to, the people that I played this with wanted to. So first and foremost, I like some of the concepts in the game. It's easy to learn and easy to teach, which is another good thing. But like the spread concept, the fact that you can attack everybody else at the table, and maybe if you do X points of damage, then you get to do another special thing, which kind of forces other people to counter or defend themselves, knowing that if they don't, it's going to hurt them, but also help you at the same time. That's a cool concept. And the defend and counter concepts themselves, those are really cool. I like the idea that you have these cards in your hand that are dual purpose, where it's like, yeah, I could defend myself from these points of damage, but by doing that, I'm going to weaken my hand for the next turn, which kind of forces you to look at the book and say, ooh, I really want that 5 or 6 point card out there, and if I defend myself, I'm not going to be able to purchase it. I like that aspect a lot. I also like the fact that when you're attacking people, you never know when you're going to get countered. It goes from you being on your turn doing a bunch of cool stuff to like, oh, I got countered, now I'm the one taking damage, but then you can turn around and counter them again. I like that aspect a lot. It's a really cool concept. Also, which one is it? There is one thing in this that I really loved, and that is the special ability card of Zero. He's one of the heroes, villains, whatever they are, and essentially he flips over the top card of the book. So a random card and then everyone is going to bid on it with health points. I don't know thematically how that works at all, but that is a really cool concept that I would like to see other games do. Like, say, Star Realms, where a random card just pops up and you can bid your health points for that. I like that idea a lot. I'm going to slam that card in about 2 minutes, but I like the concepts. I like a lot of stuff in this game. Easy to learn, easy to teach. It plays relatively quickly, but, and there's a big one. Unfortunately, Emergents Genesis, the deck building game, just did not do it for me for a lot of different reasons. Let's get the superficial ones out of the way. You don't have all the components you need to play in the game. You're going to need some cubes, you might need some dice for when you're doing the bidding, and you're going to need tokens and counters for the various different aspects of the game, the different cards in the game, and they don't even mention that in the rule booklets, and that's not a huge deal. Most gamers are going to have no problem providing those kind of things, but it is something that I wanted to mention. Now, let's get down to gameplay, why I don't like the game. And the biggest culprit here is the superhero cards, the asymmetrical powers in the game. And I love asymmetrical powers, but I do not feel like these are balanced. We played about 2 games of this, and this was the first 2 games we played. We really had a long discussion, and we went through all these cards, and we realized, no, we don't think they're all on the same playing field, which is not good. So, for instance, we got Mazer. Once during your turn, you may erase a card from the page. If that card was a Sculptor card, you're going to heal 1. So, each card, there's only 4 kinds of cards that can be out there. So, there's a very high probability that every turn, you're going to be able to destroy a card, and you're going to be able to heal 1. So, that's really useful. Then we got the Bookworm over here. Once during your turn, you may reveal the top card of a player's deck. If it is odd, you're going to heal +1. So you immediately, every single turn, have a 50% chance to heal. So there's always a 50% chance to heal. If it's even, you may force them to discard it. So either way, you're going to be doing something cool on your turn. Every single turn, you are going to get to do something cool with this guy. With Mazer, most turns, you're going to get to do something cool. Some of them, though, you're not going to be able to do something cool until you build up your deck specifically so you can accommodate what their superpower is. And I understand that. But then there's like Zero. And I talked about Zero a little bit earlier, how it has that really cool special ability where you get to flip over the top card and everybody gets to bid on it with health points. And that is awesome, ingenious. I love that. But here's the thing. That's not a superpower. That doesn't benefit you at all, because you also get to bid on that. I was so furious about this, because I read that card and I was like, oh, that sounds really cool! And then I thought about it, and I went through the game, and I played at it, and I was like, wait, so you get to heal, you get to draw a card, you get to erase, and I just get to be an auctioneer? That's all I get to do. It gives you no advantage in the auction either. You don't get their health points. You don't have, +1 to your bid or anything like that. You don't even break tiebreakers. You don't have a special ability at all. And that's not balanced. And some of them just felt like they were a little bit better than others. Some felt like they were a little bit worse. I love asymmetrical powers, but this game does not feel like it has balanced asymmetrical powers. And there's another problem with the asymmetrical powers. And one of my favorite things about a deck building game is the fact that you get to craft your own deck and try different strategies and be like, I'm going to try and just draw. I'm going to try and attack, or do this or do that. And that's what I love about deck building games. However, this one, with the asymmetrical powers, many of these really kind of shoehorn you into a particular strategy. Like there's the one where if you draw 3 cards if you draw 3 cards on a turn, you get to do something. So you are naturally going to just be, I want draw cards, I want draw cards, I want draw cards, I want draw cards. Even if you want to focus on attacking or doing something else, you have to focus on the draw cards if you want to do the special ability. And if you don't do the special ability, then you're putting yourself at a slight disadvantage. And I don't like that aspect. I don't like the fact that that at the beginning of the game, you can be dealt a card that dictates how you probably optimally should play the game. I just didn't like that aspect of the game. Also, if you're not a fan of these games where the buy row is randomized, this one might not be for you. I personally don't mind that, but I'm just trying to mention some of the other cons. But that's about it. You know, this game could have been a contender. And it's not a bad game necessarily, but I just saw so much potential in this game that was not realized, and I feel like it's really unfortunate. It could have been a contender, but as it stands, oh, and it has a very restricted player count of 2 to 4 players, but as it stands, it's just going to be one of those deck building games that kind of just goes into the sea of random deck builder games that don't distinguish themselves, and that is unfortunate. Because Emergents Genesis, the deck building game, has a lot of cool ideas, but it just doesn't realize them all. So if you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below or in the comments below. Let me know, what is your favorite movie of all time? All time! For me personally, it was Pulp Fiction for a long time, and then Inception just bumped it out of the way. Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy. Oh, so good. Christopher Nolan. Oh, so awesome. But what is your favorite movie of all time? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.